Now on Chronicle.
It's a big Saturday in the South.
From action on the field to the excitement in the stands.
But I believe we have the greatest fans in the nation.
When that crowd roars, it's one of the loudest, if not the loudest stadium in the country.
And a party in the parking lot.
Look around. You're surrounded by happy people that just love this stuff.
It's about the collegiality, it's about community, it's about family and friends.
Saturdays are for football.
It's tradition. We're all diehard Gamecock fans.
And I talk trash every day.
When the Saturday's in the South, Southern style.
Now, Chronicle. Saturdays in the South.
Welcome to Chronicle. I'm Jane Robelo. Here it is, Saturdays in the South, the time of year that we just get to revel in college football. It's all about the pageantry and the traditions that Southerners hold really dear every single fall. And as you can see at Clemson University, they are all in on the orange for sure. But honestly, no matter what your college colors are, it's really for everybody about family and friends, about these wonderful tailgate feasts and the fanfare.
Go Tigers!
Yay!
And sports director Mark Whiteman kicks us off with the November rivalry that tears the Palmetto State in two. Whether you're cheering to Tiger Rag or waving your rally towel to Sandstorm, this is the biggest rivalry in the state.
Everybody's going to live with this. Like, it's personal.
I tell people all the time, and it's the truth, this is the most heated, intense rivalry that I've ever been a part of because it's year-round.
If you're not from around here, it can be hard to grasp.
It means everything. You have to win.
But in the Palmetto State,
You're in kindergarten and you've decided who you pull for.
this rivalry reigns supreme.
Most people in South Carolina are either one or the other.
From that first contest in 1896 to the 120th last November, these fierce rivals have left it all on the football field, dividing friends and family, often in the same house.
We had been a Clemson family for 27 years, so when she picked USC, it was like we had to just change all our stuff.
My boys, they'll always be best friends, but, you know, today they put their brotherly love aside.
I'm the only one in my class that went to Clemson, and I talk trash every day. So if we don't win, it's going to be bad for me.
Split allegiances and split sweaters.
I made it. I took one of my son's shirts and the other son's, I cut it in half and sewed it together.
Go Tigers!
Orange, purple, garnet, and black. Blended together at long last on that last Saturday in November.
You know, here in South Carolina, and there's no pro sports, and it's a small state, and very prideful state, and it's a very, you know, intense rivalry.
You can feel it in the fairgrounds and in the buildup. From Cocky's funeral to the Tiger Burn, nothing lights a fire quite like the Palmetto Burn. Something Alabama native Dabo Sweeney realized shortly after he was hired at Clemson as an assistant.
And I get back in coaching, I get hired at Clemson, I'm like, let's go. I can't wait to go recruit in the spring. No different than when I was at Alabama. 50-50 maybe. I walk in a school, some people be like, so happy to see you, you know. And then you go walk in another school and they're like, oh, it's the Clemson guy, you know. And they don't even know me, you know. They're just already against me because I walked in with that logo on.
You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but the chapters in this story are endless. Goodbye to Big Thursday by Frank Howard, Jerry Butler and the Catch.
Fuller in the end zone, he's got a man. Touchdown. Oh, what a catch by Butler.
5 straight from Steve Spurrier.
That'll do it. Make it 5 and every streak's alive.
And the ensuing answer, 7 in a row under Dabo Sweeney, tying the longest streak in the more than a century-old affair.
It's intense. It's intense. Like, it means a lot to so many people in this state.
So for 3 some odd hours, once a year, nearly everyone across the Palmetto State puts down what they're doing and fixes their gaze on the gridiron for the best rivalry, bar none, regardless of who you root for.
This is just such a great state in that we will come together no matter what, and that it's just more like a pride for the whole state.
The only constant in college football right now is change as the playoff expands again and conferences realign with no regard to geography. And while Clemson, Carolina remains untouched, the SEC waved goodbye to some well-established annual rivalries. In fact, this is the first time since 1992 that South Carolina won't face Georgia. The Bulldogs open their season with a convincing 34-3 win over Clemson at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Georgia again the preseason favorite to hoist a national title after going back-to-back in 2021 and 2022 and finishing 13-1 a year ago. But expectations are nothing new between the hedges for head coach Kirby Smart and his Bulldogs.
We're dealing with new challenges this year. We don't have a chip on our shoulder in terms of people trying to use that as motivation. I've never used a failure from the previous year as motivation, and I've never used the success of a previous year as motivation. We won't do that this year. That's not who we are. We want to recreate ourselves to say in the best light we can. And this team has been fun to coach. I enjoy being on the grass with this group. They're fun to be with, have a great locker room. They love each other, and they're working their butt off right now.
The Dogs will contend in a growing SEC that includes Georgia's first trip to Austin, Texas since 1958. But while the road ahead for Georgia is both captivating and daunting, the road is all new for one upstate school. Here's Chase Justice in Anderson.
South Carolina is a state built on tradition and old rivalries, dating back to 1889, kind of old, when the Furman Paladins and Wofford Terriers played the state's very first intercollegiate football game. But here in Anderson, the Trojans are embarking on a new football journey for the state's largest private institution, kicking off the year in 2024. An exciting time for this university.
And go Trojans!
The fans.
Football is really big in the state of South Carolina, but I did hear that we have over 6,000 people at this game today, which for a smaller school, like you said, is huge. They only have 4,000 students.
And the people that helped make this football dream become a reality.
Anderson had become the largest private university in South Carolina. And there was just a sense among a lot of people, including myself, that it was time for a football team. But if we're going to be the largest university in South Carolina, we need a football team.
And while Anderson University is kicking off a new era to get the 2024 football season started, just down the road in Greenville, the Furman Paladins are coming off an outright SoCon championship, their 15th Southern Conference championship in program history. Head coach Clay Hendricks, the two-time SoCon Coach of the Year, is back for his 8th season leading the Paladins, hoping to build off one of the most successful seasons in recent memory that saw Furman advance all the way to the FCS playoff quarterfinals for the first time since 2005.
I think we had a chance to be good defensively again. I think everybody, many seniors a year ago, we have a bunch of older guys. Have a good mix of older, younger, some talented guys. I've just been really pleased with this group.
And it's a long season filled with plenty of highs and lows. But one matchup that area fans have circled every football season is the Deep South's oldest football rivalry between the Furman Paladins and Wofford Terriers. Now on Wofford's side, they return head coach Sean Watson back for his second full season at the helm for a team that started the year 0-9 before winning back-to-back games to close out the 2024 campaign, including a big win over their rival, the Furman Paladins.
With all the adversity we went through last year, it really proved that, this team really believes in each other, believe in us, we believe in them. So there's a belief factor that's going real strong. And, basically now it's the process of making us better. We have to build on what we've done or it means nothing.
And the Terriers were able to start their 2024 campaign off with a huge season opening win over Gardner-Webb. But one thing is for certain, Saturdays in the South aren't just for the Clemson Tigers and South Carolina Gamecocks. It is a Southern tradition built for universities of all shapes and sizes. In Anderson, I'm Chase Justice.
Build a tailgate and they will come.
For some, game days mean a lot more than what happens in the stadium.
We love the tailgate. We get to see a lot of friends, family.
The tailgating traditions that make the Palmetto State the place to be.
It's tradition.
On Saturdays in the fall.
The Festivities start way before the football game. In fact, as soon as these parking lots open, the tailgating begins. I'm a Clemson alum. I finished in 1982. We had just won a national championship. And now, 42 years and 2 more national championships later, Tiger tailgating is bigger than ever before.
It's about the collegiality, it's about community, it's about family and friends.
And all of that happens around Clemson football.
But here at Clemson, I think we take it seriously. It's a point of pride.
The early morning fog around Clemson's Memorial Stadium is slowly burning off as Tiger tailgaters are pouring in.
After a couple of years, it's not that hard.
Creating a sea of orange and memories for a new generation.
If you're into college football, especially in the South, it is a religion.
And the Clemson faithful make big dollar tides.
We got some kebabs going on. How about that?
To converge on Death Valley just 7 times a year.
It's Tiger Tailgater.
And some elaborate forms of transportation.
It's a lot of fun. We make a couple road games in it. What else are they doing Saturdays? Besides go watch Clemson football.
The Tigers.
Fans line the 200-yard stretch that leads to the west end zone, putting aside the fried chicken for a moment to cheer the sharp-dressed football players and coaches into the stadium. Tiger Walk is the newest Tiger tradition, started by head coach Dabo Sweeney in 2008.
It's tradition.
Each one of these tailgates also has its own traditions.
That you're a happy girl.
And the Williams Martin tailgate is now passing those to the 4th generation.
Future Tiger. JD and JV started all this, and that's our dads. And we're just passing along a tradition.
You know, I grew up with coming to Clemson games in the 70s as a kid and went to Clemson, had 4 kids graduate from Clemson. They were somewhat vested in Clemson, as you know. So we love the tailgate.
When I was a kid, it was hot chocolate coming in, and now I'm the one bringing coffee for all the parents now.
So we're actually looking at pictures earlier of us on the steps over there. They're no longer there, but I was probably like 3 years old with everyone who were tailgating here, all of us as younger kids.
That 3rd generation of little kids is all grown up now. Abby Williams Colvern and her husband Creighton actually met at a Tiger tailgate here back when they were students. And in the 2023 football season, their 6-month-old daughter Callaway became the 4th generation to join this tailgate.
We want her to grow up, you know, with the same experiences that we had growing up, so it's never too early to start them on that.
I would say it's very family oriented. Like, everyone is sweet here, everyone is kind, so it's just a perfect place to raise a baby.
Mike and Amy Williams are Callaway's proud grandparents, and they're counting on her generation to be all in.
Aww, hey.
Maybe she'll meet someone at Clemson too, so that's the plan.
Can you smile?
And they'll keep tailgating here?
Absolutely.
You can wheel in.
We can, yes. Yeah, and we will.
With each decade, the Williams Martin tailgate has grown bigger and more elaborate. But that original generation is always acknowledged here at Mike and Jane Martin's small wooden table.
Well, this was the original tailgating table when we were newlyweds and you came over to a game at Clemson with a couple of sandwiches and some chicken and a couple of drinks, and you pulled this out of the trunk.
And the Martins' wedding gift from 1983,
all the folks have signed it,
stands as a reminder that at Clemson, it's all about the family and friends that touch our soul a few magic Saturdays in the fall.
It's all about the Saturdays and the journey. That's what it's all about.
And a couple of hours from here in Columbia, South Carolina, the University of South Carolina plays host to 100,000 fans every home football game, all enjoying that unique American tradition of a tailgate. And as Carolina grad Chase Justice shows us, USC has a really unique tailgate.
For a handful of Saturdays every fall, a sandstorm builds within over 80,000 hungry fans at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Win or lose, we're Gamecock fans. We love it.
But it's the hours leading up to kickoff that sets the University of South Carolina apart from a majority of schools in the Southeast. It's about the people.
I'm a Gamecock, diehard Gamecock, forever.
It's a big-time family. Family and friends. I mean, oh my goodness, you can't beat this atmosphere.
The pageantry.
And you know why we love it here? Because look around. You're surrounded by happy people that just love this stuff.
The atmosphere. And most importantly,
about the tailgate, about the party, about the Gamecocks.
We got a lot of heartfelt love here.
It comes in many shapes and sizes. From Gamecock Park over to the fairgrounds.
Tailgate experience is so different because this is the only place on college campus that's anywhere like this. There's no other cabooses anywhere. There's no other cockabooses. This setup right beside the stadium. I mean, you leave here, you can be in your seats in like 2 minutes.
Well, I think as a Gamecock fan, you always, the dream is to have a cockaboose.
Something totally unique to the experience of tailgating at the University of South Carolina.
When you look at a cockaboose, you know, this is a very unique thing in college football. There is no other place in America that has a cockaboose or has a caboose that you can go tailgate at.
It's not about the win or the lose at the end of the game. Of course we want to win, but it's also about the community, and it's also about the family and the time that you get together with the kids, and just to see them cheer and just see them smiling throughout the game. It's just memories that last a lifetime.
No matter your tailgate flavor, it's not all about the wins and losses that keep Gamecock fans coming back to Columbia.
Just the love of our team, it's the love of the game, it's the love of a family atmosphere, and just an opportunity for all of us to come together and love Carolina football, which is what we do every week.
A mantra South Carolina's social media team has taken and run with, capturing the love people have for this university, both inside the building and out.
I love this place. I love Columbia.
Together, the University of South Carolina has created an environment where anyone is welcome, and you never know who might show up. It's the relationships carved out along the way that make this place feel like home for so many.
I'm a Gamecock. I met my wife here. She's a Gamecock. My little brother's a Gamecock. My brother-in-law is a Gamecock. My son is a freshman at Carolina. I don't know how much more I can love Carolina.
Proving it's not 4 years, it's for life. Forever to thee.
So whatever school you pull for, you're going to want to jump in and try the Southern tradition of tailgating. So pack a good spread, fire up your grill, and get ready to start traditions all your own.
It's not just the football team, it's the cheerleaders, it's the band.
Next, the other teams working hard to make game days memorable.
There is nothing like the sound of Saturdays in the South. It's well defined, with the main beat coming from the marching band. Sydney Shaddricks takes a look at what it takes to make the music of game day.
Can you hear that? Listen a little closer. That is the mighty sound of the Southeast.
It's just surreal and awesome to be part of a rich tradition here in the SEC.
I think we bring the passion, we bring the intensity.
But for a collegiate marching band, bringing this kind of intensity starts long before the first kickoff. It's nearing 100 degrees on an August afternoon in Columbia, South Carolina. Football season still weeks away, but preparations are already underway for the Carolina band.
Preparing for football season, it's fundamentals. How do we move our feet? How do we hold our body? How do we hold our instruments? How do we play? Learning all the music that's going to come at you for the season. So it's a layering process.
And down the road at Clemson University, it's just as hot.
I mean, it's so hot out there, and we are just constantly repeating the same, movements, the same sounds constantly, and it is very grueling.
As the Tiger Band gears up for that big moment.
but, you know, it's all building towards this reward of, you know, performing in front of 80,000 people on Clemson game days.
And let's face it, what would a game day in Death Valley be if the Tiger Band wasn't shaking the Southland?
There's some extra juice at a college football game, and I think a lot of it has to do with the band being there.
The rivalry on the football field is strong, but so is the camaraderie that comes with being a part of a marching band. So whether you're a member of the mighty sound of the Southeast or Tiger Band shaking the Southland, even on game day, everyone is playing in harmony.
I think, especially with Clemson's band, I mean, you walk in, you look at each other, and all you need to know is you're in band, I'm in band, and you click immediately.
We all enjoy doing the same thing, which is marching and playing our instruments and enjoying what we do there. So there's no real rivalry between teams. It's really just a collective, happy sport, I'd say.
In fact, some of these students may have marched beside one another in high school.
They've got the same schools feeding their band that we do feeding our band. So on game day when we play USC, it's a big reunion for the students in the band.
And no matter what colors they wear, they likely share some common characteristics.
I think you find a very similar, very common, sometimes hard to put into words, realization of commitment, work ethic, delayed rewards.
And just as hard to describe, the feeling of taking the field.
Oh, it's so tough to put into words. It's just adrenaline, you're smiling, it's like a, hey, look, Ma, I made it.
With more than 300 of your closest friends.
I really love the people in Tiger Band. They are my best friends. I love them so much, and like Tiger Band wouldn't be anything without the people in it.
To create an unforgettable experience.
The main thing is that we provide an opportunity and an environment where 20 years from now these students look back and they remember the people they were with, and they remember the general excitement of getting to perform and be part of something larger than them individually.
And the Carolina Band can add one more fabulous memory this year. They have been invited to perform at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. You know, so much of this infectious enthusiasm that you feel on a college football game day actually comes from the sidelines. Photojournalist Lauren Fleming takes a look at the cheer squad and the dance teams and how they work in perfect sync to really rile up those fans in the stands.
I think one word that encompasses it all is the ambassadors for the university. A lot of more face-to-face time with fans than some of the other student athletes do. So even when they're walking from their dorm to the game, they're getting stopped and taking pictures. Here we go, y'all. Some part of our practice is just game day conditioning, where we're doing game day material. 3, 5, 7. So like the cheers, the chants, the dances, the sideline dances. The whole month of August, they come back the first week of August. We are practicing outside as much as we can. Stay sharp! Getting used to doing things sweaty and tumbling when we're hot, and because we don't want to get to that first game and not be prepared. All the way to your shoulder, y'all, all the way to your shoulder.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are a part of the Spirit program. We couple with cheer. We do all of the things game day related, as far as we're on the sidelines for football. We get to do timeouts.
Now welcome to the field of your Clemson Rallycast.
We are treated just like another sport. We train 5 to 6 days a week, a couple hours a day. With being a part of athletics, they have to uphold the same standards as every other student athlete as far as grades and performance, etc. The feeling walking into Death Valley, like the chills that you have, it's so hard to explain that like magic to someone unless you get to go through it.
The atmosphere is so electric, and it really does embody all of that Clemson family feel.
That drive was 69 yards.
These squads also support the men's and women's basketball teams, and they compete against other cheerleading squads and dance teams nationwide.
What makes Saturdays in the South so incredible for the guys in charge?
I'm biased, but I believe we have the greatest fans in the nation.
But I love to hear the roar of the crowd. You know, there's nothing better.
We go one-on-one with head coaches Shane Beamer and Dabo Sweeney. Still to come on Chronicle. Welcome back to Chronicle, Saturdays in the South.
As you approach that rock, I mean, it is like, it's a sacred thing.
I'm in the tunnel with the South Carolina football team. We're getting ready to take the field in front of 80,000 people, the best fans in America, and go compete.
And you just can sense all of the intensity of our fans.
So I love 2001, but I love what that moment means, probably even more so than that.
When it comes to Saturdays in the South, for a number of fans, you could sum it up with 2 words. All in, Clemson Tigers, or Dabo Sweeney. When I say Saturdays in the South, what comes to mind?
Football. Football. That's, you know, just passion, football, hanging out with friends, tailgates. For me, going all the way back to finding a radio to listen to the Alabama game as a kid growing up. But there's no question the passion and the enthusiasm for college football in the South is just, it's one of those things, until you have lived here, it's hard to really understand. It's a family reunion every single Saturday in Clemson, South Carolina. You know, there's a lot of people who didn't go to Clemson, whose kids came to Clemson. And then they go on about their life, but the parents stay. You know, like they all will just meet back in Clemson. And it's this family reunion feel every time.
When you get on, when the buses come around and everything is happening, you walk off the bus and you're standing there by the rock and you touch it and you run down the hill. Walk me through what's going through every pore in your body.
Well, it's indescribable, really. But man, I mean, it still makes the hair stand up on my arms. And as you approach that rock, I mean, it is like, it's a sacred thing. And you just can sense all of the intensity of our fans. And then the team gets there, and man, there's just the people on the hill are yelling, and then it's like, all right, let's go. And then that cannon shoots off, and man, I get down there, I try to get out there and lead, and then I'm the last one to the sideline. I make sure I see every player that comes down that hill and look them in the eye, and then I go and we get on with business. But it is truly one of the certainly most unique, but it's an experience that no one will ever forget. These players, it's something that they'll remember for the rest of their life, and it truly is, you know, the most exciting 25 seconds in all of college football.
When you're on the sidelines and something great happens, do you hear the crowd?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Man, our crowd is amazing. I mean, there's been sometimes I can't hear anything but the crowd. It's so loud. I mean, there's been some amazing moments in that stadium. But I love to hear the roar of the crowd. You know, there's nothing better.
And on the flip side, when a play doesn't go right,
I don't hear that. Yeah, I don't hear that.
So the roar of the crowd, the players on the field, the band, and what they do and bring to Saturdays in the South, you don't get it anywhere else.
No, pageantry. I mean, it's this magical thing. You know, you wish our world could just be like that. Like, you have all these people, a lot of these people may not even talk to each other Monday through Friday. But man, on Saturday, they've got that type. Hey, they're hugging each other, they're high-fiving each other. It don't matter what faith they are or what politics they have. They all love the Tigers, and that is a very powerful thing to be a part of and to experience. You know, I mean, it's magical. You know, it really is. I mean, where can you get 85,000 people to all be in unison and different walks of life, but they all love the Tigers. This common ground.
The rivalry in the team in the center of the state. How is that?
Well, let me tell you, this Clemson South, it's intense. It's intense. Like, it means a lot to so many people in this state. I've got some Gamecock friends. I mean, I pray for them daily.
Now, you really can't tell the whole story without including our friends down in Columbia. So, Julia Morris, I'm going to toss it to you.
There are always so many special traditions around game day, and here in Columbia, there are quite a few. From Sandstorm in 2001 to Gamecock Walk, head coach Shane Beamer says this is his dream job. Shane, you're the son of a college football legend. You have lived across the country and held various different coaching positions throughout your life. But here in the South, what makes Saturdays in the South so special?
Yeah, just the pageantry, obviously, but you've got college communities, small towns that they all come together on Saturdays. And no matter what the week was like, no matter what their political affiliation, it's one thing they can all agree on Saturdays is cheering for their favorite team.
You mentioned that different groups come together on Saturdays that maybe we wouldn't see in any other element, but somehow this game brings people together. Why is that?
Oh man, there's a common, unifier, and that's just your college football team, and everyone can agree on that. And it's just so much more. I mean, it's one thing I just love about college athletics. It's just the atmosphere of a game day, because it's not just the football team. It's the cheerleaders. It's the band. It's the tailgating. It's friends being able to come together that the only time they get together are on home football weekends in the fall. And it's such an event, but it's just a great unifier for everybody to be able to come together and be together on a football weekend.
When you got the job here, you said it was your dream job. What makes Saturdays in Columbia so special?
I'm biased, but I believe we have the greatest fans in the nation. It's a college. One thing I love about Columbia, it's the capital of South Carolina, but it's a college town. And seeing the community rally around football Saturday here in Columbia is awesome. But you just talk about the tailgating, and for us, or for me, it's the Gamecock Walk when we get here and we walk into the stadium with our players. And I find myself just watching videos of it year round just because it is so awesome. But I think it goes back to the core of what makes Saturdays so special. I mean, I have a picture hanging in my office of Gamecock Walk, and I love the picture because you see people just rows deep to talk to the players or see the players. You see little kids on the shoulders of their dad, and that's what it's about. Dad being able to take a son to a Gamecock football game, just like that dad probably did with his dad growing up as well. So it's a great snapshot of what college football is about in the South, and something that I'm so blessed to be a part of.
You mentioned the great traditions around South Carolina football, like Sandstorm, 2001, Gamecock Walk. Is there one of those traditions that stands out above the others for you personally?
For me, it's probably just 2001. I can remember hearing it, like I said, in 1987 when I came in here with my dad as a 10-year-old. And it was a big deal then, and it's a big deal now. But for me, it's more just when I hear that, we're in the tunnel and we're about to go play. And if you ever watch me, like every time I'm in the tunnel, I'm focused on the game, don't get me wrong, but I'll always take time to just kind of look around and take it in. And I will never lose that appreciation for what I get to do. And we certainly want to celebrate the heck out of Saturdays, and nothing better than being able to celebrate it with the people that are most special to you. You can be able to go up to Clemson and win that game against Coach Sweeney and that program, which I've got so much respect for, was a pretty special moment. Being a lot of the pictures here in this office are of that day, and it's not so much the game, it's just being with my family afterwards, which was pretty special as well.
You mentioned that win over Clemson in 22 and the respect that you have for Coach Sweeney, but inside the lines, what does that rivalry mean to you?
It's very intense. I've been a part of some great rivalries in my time. This is the most heated, intense rivalry that I've ever been a part of, because it's year-round. And I think so much of it is kind of going back to this whole feature, football in the South and Saturdays in the South. There's no pro sports or major pro sports here in South Carolina, but there is great respect for the way they do things. I consider Dabo a very close friend that, you know, I talk to fairly regularly, and Kathleen, his wife, has been great to our family and to Emily, my wife, and a program and people that I think a lot of.
And when I asked Coach Beamer about his legacy and what he hopes to leave in Columbia, he said aside from winning football games, he hopes that people remember him as someone who never changed who he was.
A population that explodes and fans spend.
Game days are, you know, I mean, it's our Black Friday.
Ahead, a look at how the excitement on the field spreads out into college communities.
This 2024 season, Clemson will host 7 home football games, and the revenue that comes with all of this revelry is really enormous. Gabrielle Komorowski crunches the numbers and finds that in Tigertown, each home game is crucial for a business's bottom line.
Clemson's population of just under 20,000 people grows by 100,000 people on game days.
It's packed. We'll have thousands of people come through every day.
Tiger fans can get their Tiger swag at Mr. Knickerbocker. The crowds of orange and purple spend a lot of green.
Game days are, you know, I mean, it's our Black Friday.
At the Esso Club, tables are packed on the inside and the outside.
We set up, 20-something tables in the parking lot here, and I mean, it's all day long. We get here 8 a.m., go to 11 p.m.
It's an institution.
You'll find lifelong Tiger fans like James Young watching the game at the Esso Club.
Just about every game day, yes.
Here, people can share a Tiger Den sampler or chew on some Cheer-em-on cheese fries.
Game day is a staple for us.
Some of these businesses will bring in as much as 50% of their annual revenue on the 7 days the Tigers play at home.
Oh, the financial impact is amazing.
What is the average economic impact of a single home game?
Probably up towards $4 million.
Brian Lee is the president of the Clemson Area Chamber of Commerce and says kickoff time makes a difference. Night games are the most lucrative.
So if you come in for a late game, then most likely you're going to stay in one of our hotels, eat at our restaurants, shop at our shops.
The Abernathy Hotel recently converted some rooms to fit another bed, making space for more families. But if you'd like to stay the night for a home game, mark your calendar for next season.
Is there ever availability at the hotel on game day?
Never.
Never?
Never. We've sold out every single year since we've been open. We sell out the day that the football schedule is released.
General Manager Barbara Sheehan tells us the Abernathy makes about 20% of its annual revenue from the 7 weekends when there's a home game.
It brings so many people in, and then the restaurants are benefiting. Everybody's benefiting. It's a lot of fun.
The community benefits.
We are constantly aware with the city and with the university of how some of these dollars are being reinvested in our community. You think about infrastructure, you think about roads. I mean, everything improves when, money is doing well in your community.
Creating a winning season for Tigertown every year.
And the numbers show that when the Gamecocks play at home, businesses all across the Midlands enjoy an economic boost as well.
Hey, how's it going?
Next, one Clemson fan rolls out the Royal Orange Carpet.
There's something about overall tailgating in the South that unites people.
For family, friends, and strangers who become new friends.
The tradition and the enthusiasm of Saturdays in the South aren't just limited to the big Power 5 football conferences. Just check out these Wofford College fans at a preseason party in Spartanburg. Flags are flying high at Wofford, where Scott Otten has parked the party bus.
People look forward to seeing us every year. I've had people text me, call me, are you coming this year? Where are you going to park this year?
Scott's cheered on the Terriers for decades. He says it's all about community.
I grew up, a stone's throw away from here. Didn't attend here, but I was smart enough to send my kids here. So it worked out pretty good that way.
His son Nolan not only went to Wofford, but played there, empowered by the fans.
Wofford's got a great fan base.
you can always count on people being here cheering on the Terriers.
The next generation is turning cartwheels for the Gold and Black. Raised, as Scott was raised, with Saturdays near the hill, filled with life lessons to conquer and prevail.
It's pride. I mean, it's just, I feel like a winner. You know, that's what I feel like.
One Clemson superfan is using his Saturdays to give back to the community that gave so much to him. Stephanie Trotter takes us to his super tailgate right over there.
Tonight's kickoff is at 8 p.m. If you're here at 8 a.m., Jeff Viney says you're too late. We caught up with the Clemson alum first thing this morning.
The sun's barely up. And well before, Dabo rubs the rock.
All right, we ready, boys?
And the Tigers storm the field.
Here we go.
Jeff Viney leads his team through its pregame ritual.
All right, yep.
Did he bring the stove?
The oven is back there.
The Builders hosted this tailgate for 20 years, welcoming anyone who stops by.
I just met 4 young men this morning. I've never met their freshmen here, and they're going to come back and tailgate later today because they don't have anywhere else to. They're from out of town.
He once wandered, coming to Clemson from West Virginia.
And that's what this is all about to me, is so many kids here don't have their family here. So this is just an extended family. Come down here and enjoy the day, and we all have something in common. We love Clemson.
His love of Clemson is rooted in how the community rooted for him while he put himself through school.
I relied a lot on people because, you know, I was on my own. And, you know, you come home and some nights your power's out at your apartment, but it is what it is. You just carry on.
Some days they'd give him meals. Today, he now brings enough food to feed 100 friends, students, and strangers.
Hot dogs, chili, low country boil.
Jeff hired Kevin Kerr when he graduated.
He's a good mentor for not only my career, but to be a better person and to be active in the community.
So tell me about your dad.
Big guy, big heart, go big or go home. Yeah, he's always trying to do stuff for someone else any way he can, and so he always likes to go big in case someone needs something he can provide.
Jeff says his tailgate's not unique at Clemson.
I've tailgated a lot of places around the country. You can't just walk into a stranger's tents and then feed you a plate of food, and everybody on this campus is like that.
And in the shadow of Death Valley,
you know, Clemson's been good to me.
The big man with a big heart.
It's hard to say.
Goes all in.
I mean, I get emotional when I talk about it. I love this place. It's just, it's a special place. I love coming to Clemson.
With bellies full and reunions complete, it's now time for the fans to head into the stands. Now, some of them might argue that football is just that thing that happens between tailgating. But as you can hear the decibel level rising in the stadium, I think it's pretty clear that those boys down on the field pushing that pigskin around, well, that really is the main event. We hope that you have enjoyed this trip through the traditions and the heritage that make Saturdays in the South so magical. Thank you for joining us for Chronicle. I'm Jane Robelo.